Okay, let's see if we can get started. And already out of. Where's my next box? Go through, go through these things too quick. Okay, ITC. Yep, I'm here. Just cursing about the fact that I go through these gloves far too quick. And a lot of that's because of the weather. Lucky to get 20 minutes before you start sweating up. Alright. This is better. See if I've taken my cam off focus. Okay, that's good. Alright. Okay, midweek, everybody's busy doing their jobs. Probably a bit early for a lot of people out there. Oh well. Hey Leslie, I'm trying to decide where to put my keyboard. Yeah, I'll put it over here for now. I really should have a slide out tray. When I get my new benches put in here, I'll add a slide out tray. It's not the most ideal way to have them, but it's better than nothing. How come some of the viewers have the spanner icon? That's because they're moderators, random people that have been selected to endure the pains of having to moderate. 45 seconds for my message to round trip. Yeah, that's pretty normal. The way it goes. I don't know whether that's specifically because of my location, but I have a strong feeling it's probably more to do with the fact that my machine takes a long time to encode. There's a fairly large buffer. I can switch it so that the YouTube stream is preference to be low latency, but it requires a lot more CPU, and most of the time my machine will then go that I'm overloaded, things like that. Alright, well I'm going to get started anyway because it's 11 o'clock at night. So this machine's come in. A person said to me that they were just doing their work and it just screen went all funny, and then they tried again and it just beeped at them. So yeah, we'll see what goes on here. No, this one's got a rear jack. So I've already taken the drive out of this as a precautionary. Most of the machines, when I get them in, the first thing I do is take the drive out and clone the drives and then work on them without... What are you? You're... What? I think you're an eSATA port. No, I don't know what you are. No. Yeah, you're an eSATA port, so you should plug in. There we go. Once you know it's the port that it's meant to be in, all of a sudden you can plug it in. Now you're going to have to live and learn, Lizzie. And, oh great, works perfect. Alright, but I'm going to guess something else is not right. Let's see if we move the screen around whether it pops. I know the person wouldn't have brought it into me unless they thought something was really up. Well, it could be BJ. G'day, Motorman. Mind you, this does look like it's an Intel It does look like an Intel one, so I'd be quite surprised if that was the fault. See if I can induce it. Ah, I hate it when they got the power connector on the back. That flash wasn't normal. Then again, maybe it was. I'm being gentle, don't worry. The CPU seems to be okay. It's only sitting on 34 centigrade. Let's see if we can burn it. Okay, 100% CPU. It's always fun when machines come in that you can't replicate the fault it was coming in for. Because the person said to me they waited overnight and it didn't even bother coming up the next morning, it was just dead. So we're pushing up 70 degrees, 72. The inch of wearing gloves, it's hard to get a feel for the airflow, but I can feel it. Yeah, this is pretty normal. Fan clean, probably just ran hot. Yeah. Well, this is what the burn test that I'm doing now should reveal. And unfortunately, you're not really getting a good view on that. I can't really show that up. But it's stabilizing at around about 75 degrees. So that says to me that there probably is not really a lot of gunk. If it was over 85, I'd be thinking there was restrictions on the impeller and whatnot, or the radiator. This thing gonna make me have to pull it apart. Actually, I can feel something here. I think it's just the fan going flat out. Go, man, go. Just offset a little bit. What are you stressing the CPU with? It's a program called Burn P6. It's just, there's also Burn K6, Burn K5. I'd imagine it's just some sort of tight mathematical algorithmic loop. And you just run it as many times as you need for threads. So like if you've got 4 threads or two cores and they're hyper-threaded, then you run 4 instances of it. It'd be a pain to do it manually if you're running on something like Threadripper. Hey Krajay, you haven't even made it out of the house yet. Yeah, I know, I'm a little bit early. No, this is not overheating. It's leveling out up here. Like I said, you guys can't really see this, but it's leveling out at 75, 76, so I consider that pretty normal. Let's see. Okay, that's terminated. And the temperature plummets pretty much straight away, which is another good sign that the cooling system's working. I'll boot cycle this and see what happens. Hey Ray, how's things over there on your side of the southern hemisphere? Let's try one stick. Hmm. The other option is it could be simply a cable wiggling loose in the back of the screen. Though normally when you flip it back and forth they play out pretty easy. What have we got? Oh, it's an original first gen i3 M380. This is an old machine these days. I might pull the bezel off and see if something's showing up on the back there. Why not? At least this one isn't a touch display. I still haven't got a replacement for that touch screen that we had all the dramas with. Okay. Yep, that's right. Don't want to be up till 3 a.m. I mean, I don't really mind per se being up late. I mean, I enjoy it, except for the fact that these days it seems like I feel like I've got a nice hangover the next morning. I mean, it's not really a hangover type, but it's more just, yeah, you feel a bit sluggish. Even if you have managed to allocate yourself 8 hours of sleep, just, I don't know, just not recovering like I used to. Oops. And this is how bezels should come off. See you, Leslie. Oh, wait. Hello? No? I thought you were leaving them for some second. Oh, what are you getting stuck up there for? Hey, Annex. Nice to see you again. I keep missing Lewis Rossman's streams lately. He's doing them much earlier than I'm willing to get up. I think that might be one of the reasons why I'm trying to get to bed earlier too, so I can get up and start my day with a healthy dose of Lewis Rossman cynicism. Actually, I shouldn't really say cynicism because pretty much everything he says is sadly true. I mean, there's a fair bit of trolling in there, but that aside. Alright. Looks like I'm the first one to be in this particular tomb. So let's pick our tool. Time seems to speed up beyond 1 a.m. Yep. Yeah, you sort of start the evening, you think, oh yeah, you know, it's 9 o'clock and then it's 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock. And you get into a couple of things and you see 1 o'clock come up and next minute it's 4 o'clock and you're like, oh. It doesn't help if you're binge watching things on Netflix either. Right now my wife is watching House of Cards. I think it's the 5th season at the moment. That show's a little too addictive. Just have energy smoothie. Don't go getting old on me. Ha! Yeah, right. Found the smoothies that I was having were making me a little bit pudgy, a little fat. Mostly because I didn't run them off. I'm gonna have a look under this, under the magnifying glass. going to call this inconclusive. I may still lift and reset it, just in case. But this one's stuck down pretty bloomin' good. I mean, the tooth's locked in and everything, so if it is that, then it'd be the whole panel at fault, more than likely. Stay. I think when we get tired, we forget to factor in the time things take. Yeah, there is that too. You sort of think, oh, I'll get this done in 30 minutes. And it usually takes longer. I think also because you are generally running a little bit slower overall in your mind, taking a little bit more time to do things, and you're making more mistakes, so you're compensating for that as well. Yeah. Hey Mike, so I don't know yet where our fault's going to be lying. I haven't even seen it play up yet, so that's a little bit distressing, because I definitely do not want to send this back and say it's fine, and then they go, actually it didn't work as soon as I got home. I hate it when that happens, because then you feel like an idiot. I mean, people do understand that these things happen, but it still doesn't change the fact that they get frustrated by the fact that, well, they took the time to come out and deliver the laptop to you, and they expected you to do the job, and you weren't able to induce it to fault. The hard drive in this is actually quite old. The one I took out, it's an old Western Digital 640GB blue. Must be one of the few survivors. A few years ago there was a really bad spate of them failing, along with the 320s. I don't know exactly what it was, but something about their design just wasn't working so well, and in a couple of months I got a hell of a lot of failures. Okay. By the way, apologies for asking, but have you noticed the webcam, the laptop webcam that is looking at my pretty face? Seems to be better quality today. It's going. Damn it, it'd be nice just to get this thing to fault. Come on, give me a fault. And if it is a dud joint, you bang it around, it's just going to make it work for a bit more. Let's try a mem test. I'm going to do some exploratory surgery. I need a higher chair too, by the way. This chair is perhaps 2 inches too short, which means it's going to be absolute hell when the microscope arrives. I suppose the other option I could go for is simply having a lower bench top, That may be the problem. Perhaps the bench top's just too high. Anyone got a standard height for what bench tops should be? Or is it one of those a dozen different standards type thing? The reason why I'm opening this up is the customer has said to me, look, if you can't fix it, because they were bringing it in broken. Ooh, oh no, it's just looked like, anyway. They said if you can't fix it, just get the data off and I'm going to go buy a new machine. So for me that's kind of an invitation to have a bit of a deeper dig, just for the hell of it. So I've already recovered that data. What else we got? Ah, come on. Sometimes I do think I want an electric screwdriver, but then I realise it's pretty pointless. I think the thing with electric screwdrivers is they take so long to unscrew anything. And if you have a high speed one, they never behave properly and they round out your Phillips heads. Need to redo my electronics work area too. Been browsing the EEV blog, show your lab thread. That's actually not a bad idea. I am on that forum, the EEV blog forum, but I don't really do much on there. I think I'm at the point where I don't seem to be able to expand a lot more with my social media. So like I'm feeling a little bit stretched. Like between watching Lewis, Jason, STS and Chris, I'm like, man, I'm exhausted. Plus I've got things to do myself. My god, there's a lot of screws in this one. Do you have new benches coming? Is the height going to be different or it doesn't matter because of the chair? The benches coming are just going to be flat tops. They're just white laminate flat top, 2400 by 600 by I think about 25mm thick, 1 inch thick. And I'm able to set them to whatever height I want because I will be building the frames that they sit on. I was thinking of using angle brackets off the wall, but the trouble I find with that, particularly with this particular laminate top, is it's simply too heavy for the brackets, and the brackets really sag. Even if they're good, solid, right angle braced brackets, they always seem to sag, one way or another. So I'm going to make up a frame out of 70 by 35 wood. Oh man, a couple more tricksy screws. I'm going to be annoyed if there's nothing actually wrong inside here. That'll be just my luck. Yeah, Mike, I'd probably, if this was perhaps say 2 inches shorter, that'd probably be an ideal type screwdriver. I'm just checking for loose screws, something I may have missed, things like that. And okay, I've got a pop-out keyboard. It just needs little latches pushed back. I said just needs little latches pushed back. Oh, for God's sake, come on. Why do they put these spring-loaded latches here if they're not even reliably spring-loaded? Anyone see Lewis Rossman's requests for working out some sort of configuration for a pressure sensor so that he can smash a laptop screen or something? If you didn't, they're on Twitter. Alright. Oh no, you did not. I hate it when my fingers get caught. Did you tear that? Nope, we're good. Whew. Would have had to spend a whole $20 and get a new one of those. Or I could have been highly unethical and said, no, the computer's dead. Get a new one. And just sort of like be like a dog and kick dirt over my mistake. Whoa, down to Durban. I only went to Durban twice. One was for a golf weekend with the company, and that was a disaster because I made the foolish mistake of buying new shoes for that weekend. I also bought a whole new golf set. So I bought new shoes and they didn't really fit properly, and so by the end of the course my my feet were bleeding good and proper. I didn't think I could walk for a day or two after that, but I had to drive back home, back up to Johannesburg, Centurion, of course. Well, that'll teach me if you're trying to be Mr. Fancy Pants with the business guys. I should have stayed in the tech room. In the tech room, pulling cord, pulling wire, whatever you want to say. Or coding. Or snooping on other people's web browsing habits so that I can blackmail them. I never actually did that, but could have. I think it's one of the interesting things about being in IT when you're dealing with internet connectivity, email, and things like that, is you do have the opportunity to snoop a lot on people's stuff, but particularly back then. But of course you have to make sure you don't. But I know quite a few of my other workers would do that sort of stuff. I didn't really approve of it one bit. Thank goodness for being able to encrypt emails even back then. Alright, you're off. What have we got? In all honesty, I cannot immediately see anything profoundly obvious. This may have to go down as simply one of those intermittent things, and if the person is willing to go purchase a new one, then power to them. Haven't seen a Lewis stream in a few days. I haven't caught a live one. I managed to catch a couple of jesters. But at least in some ways, sometimes with Lewis's streams, not catching the live ones can often be better for me, because I've been going through a bit of a phase where I'm just sort of making stupid comments on the live stream, and I was like, you idiot, what'd you say that for? And then of course you can't retract it. Too much of the whole look at me syndrome, look at me, come over here. So harking back to the bad days of high school. There we go. Ran Malwarebytes a few days ago and just realised it's been running active protection since, including its Adnetsoft startup. Yeah, discovered while seeing while my PC just locked up. Oh, so still, it's interesting. Why would your PC be locking up because of Malwarebytes? It's a bit of a concern. I mean, I use that a lot, as you all know. Oh, speaking of which, the machine I was working on last night, that Dell, well, what is all this? Just noticed something here. What's that come from? Well, no, that doesn't make sense. What the hell is this? I've got. Yeah. Okay, let's turn on autofocus. Where'd my mouse go? It's going to turn on autofocus. I don't normally trust the autofocus, but we're going to do it for this one. The bloody light's in the way. Clearly it doesn't have auto exposure going right. You can see over here there's all this sort of black junk. It looks like, on first thought, some sort of foam rubber that's degraded, but I can't seem to see where or what it's come from. It's probably nothing. It's just so weird that it is where it is, because it was sitting under the DVD deck and there's nothing showing up here, and there's nothing on the keyboard top deck. Mysteries. Yeah, lots of mysteries. That's a little too harsh. Come on, get out of my face. Same issue with live sound in theatres. Ability to route cast member headsets to mics and headphones. You just have to. Oh, right, okay. I see what you mean, yeah. You're going to listen in on things that you're not supposed to. Yeah, there's a certain level of trust that you really cannot. You have the opportunity but should not violate. I think that's what it comes down to. And I suspect a lot of people, like your bosses and things like that, do tend to get a sense for whether you're exploiting that or not. This is weird. What is that? You're on the top or the bottom? Oh, you're eating right through. What the hell? Yeah, I can't really see. I'll be very glad once I do have the microscope. I can show this. There's a cutting sort of groove in the speaker here. It's certainly not from my. So what are you from? There. And there's nothing there to rub against that. That's just bizarre. I hate it when you have strange mechanical imperfections going on around places, but you can't explain them. You can't find out why. Okay. What's going on here? There's a bit of weird corrosion on this FPC connector. Again, no real rhythm or rhyme to that one. It could simply be it's just old. But they don't normally like to write it off like that. Nothing in here looks like it's been reworked. We obviously do have a separate GPU. So I'm going to say, and I think everybody here will probably agree with me, and if you don't, I will ban you. No, just kidding. I am going to say that probably the GPU's on its last days, and that is why it didn't work according to the customer, so it didn't work at all. We can't make it misbehave, so yeah, we'll just commit this one to death. I'll probably see if I can get the customer to let me retain it for parts. Not for me to fix or anything like that, but just a case of the 17-inch panel is a, pardon me, it's a 1600 by 900 panel. Yeah, so it probably could come in some use in the future. So, sorry, I forgot about chat. That's okay. It's probably not because of Malwarebytes. I just found it in my search for something else. Oh, okay, yep. Yeah, Mike, okay, I should have looked at what you said earlier. I will tend to agree with you. What threw me a little bit here is normally on the deck here, how you normally see this is an AMD or this is a NVIDIA GPU in this machine. And not seeing anything there, I thought it might have been just an Intel chipset for the graphics, like a CPU one. I guess we'll try boot back into Linux and have a look at what the GPU is. Still, it is a first gen i3, so no harm in saying it's time for it to die. Yeah, I have noticed that as well, Motorman, that Malwarebytes is sort of pushing itself in a little bit like that. I do prefer it if it would just simply do the scan and nothing else, like with the ESET Nod32 live online scanner. That's what I prefer. I mean, it's not been a major problem, and when you do uninstall Malwarebytes, it does it quickly, but it is them kind of pushing the line. And then before you know it, they're another McAfee. Okay, that's a little harsh. That was uncalled for. But you know what I mean. So they always start out the small steps, and then they get a little bit crazy, and then a new board member turns up, a new CEO, and it says, "I'm proud to be this herd of sharks," and then proceeds to tell everyone not to worry about that. Don't you worry about blank, let me worry about blank. And they proceed to gut the company. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of screws in this thing. Yeah, the free version is the one I get. I did buy a license of Malwarebytes, but with me running Nod32 as the antivirus, I really don't want another scanner system running actively. Just kind of like, one please, and that's it. Didn't Malwarebytes go through a phase about 6 months or maybe 9 months ago where they basically only gave you a 24-hour trial or something? I could be wrong, but I just recall downloading one, and they wanted me to sign up all sorts of stuff without activate it, and then it was only a 24-hour trial. And I thought, wow, they're really trying to kill off their possible customer base. Paid version has 4 layers, the 4 layers of protection. And what are the 4 layers of protection? That's a genuine question, by the way. I'm kind of curious as to what they declare them as. Does Nod32 have ransomware protection? I'm not actually sure, to be honest. I've never looked into it for that. I've only ever put in the antivirus side of it. I know it picks up the ransomware when it comes through, but I do not think, I don't know if it actively does something to mitigate possible ransomware issues. I haven't checked. Not a very good tech MR. I'm not a very good salesperson on that either. Oh man. I do wonder at times why I bother putting these back together. I should be able to just say to the customer, it's dead. Dead. D-E-D. Dead. Let me throw it in the trash. But it's all a bit like a poker game. particularly if you want the parts on it or something. You got to put it all back together, and then you got to take it out to the customer, and you got to give them the sad news. Sometimes I wish I had a surgeon's mask for this sort of thing, and yeah, just pull it down appropriate and sort of go, it's not going to make it. And then you got to bring the body out and try to explain to them, look, this is dead, it's basically going to go in the trash, and then go to hand it to them very carefully, sort of like, well, I hope you find something you can do with this. And then hopefully at that moment they go, oh, well, is it any use to you? And then you've got to make sure you don't get too enthusiastic, and you sort of go, yeah, I can always put it into the spare parts pile for one future day where it might help someone else out. And if you play it just right, you get to keep the laptop or the computer. And then afterwards you wonder, why the hell did I even want that? It's like, it's nothing, it's junk. It's filling up my room. Now I've got to throw it away. I think it's half the challenge though of doing it. The truth is often is harsh. Yeah, the truth almost always is harsh, yes. Yeah, I'm almost certain that it's likely the GPU issue. I'm kind of upset I didn't bother to check to see what the GPU was prior to opening it up, but at least that alleviated any possible afterthoughts. Like, maybe I should have checked this, maybe I should have checked that. Okay. Let's see. Anti-exploit, anti-ransomware, malicious website protection, anti-malware, anti-spyware. That sounds like 5 layers. No, I'm only kidding. Yeah, so, okay, cool. Now the problem I find with when you get to that sort of level, and I didn't put those screws in that I was meant to, it just sucks so much out of the performance of the machine. I mean, even something like Nod 32, which is quite good in terms of its efficiency and not inhibiting your system so much, unlike Norton 360, which pretty much kills your machine. Can't believe they sell that stuff. And I can't believe the local shops, the ones that should know better, push that stuff. I suppose it does help their bottom line in a way, because they're, oh, your machine needs more RAM, more CPU, maybe you should get a solid state drive. Money, money, money. Yeah. And believe me, I'm all for making money. God, yes, I mean, I love making money. I wouldn't want to dive into it though, I will fair warn you. For 2 reasons. The disease factor. I mean, money is disgusting stuff. You will find all manner of terrifying things floating around on money, and people will actually stick that stuff in their mouths. It's like, yeah, you don't want to live. Then again, maybe it helps their immune system. I'd rather eat some dirt, to be honest, but anyway. Yeah, I mean, I like the money, but at the same time I like to be able to sleep at night. I guess that's something perhaps some people could one say are blessed to have, is the capacity to be able to operate what we would consider unethically and still pleasantly sleep at night. I suppose there's lots of different points of view on that. I suppose you could say, well, the customers were being doof in the first place, and henceforth they deserve to have their money taken from them for being so stupid. I'm just doing them a service before someone else takes it. Yeah. There we go. I've used both McAfee and Norton in the past. They used to be fairly lean. Yeah, used to be. I mean, Norton used to be the best thing out. I mean, Norton disk defragger and all the stuff for like the XT, pretty much up to sort of like when the Pentiums came out. So was that 93, 92, 93, something like that. It was all good then, and that was when Mr. Norton himself was running the show. But then, as I said before, yeah, the marketing drones come in and basically just take that customer base, that trust with the company, and for lack of a better word, they rape it, which is really sad. Okay, that's down properly. I don't know why I bother put the battery back in, but I guess that means I don't lose it. Alright, that one, yeah, I'll write it off. At least the customer was prepared to accept that this was going to die. So I'm glad they've got that mindset and make it easier for the transition. Oops, there's a bit of the chassis cracking through. Alright, let's have a look at our next job for the night. And that is a desktop machine. That doesn't want to turn on. Oh, g'day SDS. Yeah, I thought you'd be flat out with your huge pile of blue baskets that I see on your shelves. I mean, you're crazy popular, you are. Alright, sorry, I'm just getting this machine prepared. Okay. This one has a feel of a very old machine. I'm probably going to have to do this mostly standing up. No, I think I might do it sitting down because no one wants a crotch shot. So there we go. Never run Nod32, but Malwarebytes has two services that use about 85 mega memory. McAfee is crazy, they will have 8 to 12 running in the background. Yeah, I don't think enough of those people experience cognitive dissonance and therefore just sleep fine. Yeah, that's what I worry about as well, CryJ. Yep. And I find that very frustrating because it's like you want to get ahead. You want to feel like you're being rewarded for being an honest person. And in all honesty, I've given up on the notion that there is rewards for being good. But it won't stop me being good. But I've given up on the notion that there is a reward for it, so to speak. I suppose you could counter-argue that therefore is not truly being good because you've got an ulterior motive, the fact that you want to be rewarded. And speaking of rewards, I already know why this doesn't work. Haha, that was easy. Yep. Other than the fact that it's an old board. Well, it is because it's an old board. Haven't seen one of these in a while. Let me show you what's wrong. I'll get my big tripod. Okay. Oops, suppose I better put the auto... It is on autofocus, crap. Okay. You're not doing a very good job, autofocus. Stupid camera. Can we see... Let's put my finger near something. This is a ceiling capacitor. No, it's not really. Ah, for God's sake. See what I mean, Jason? How these cameras do not like mechanical things to focus on. They want human bodies. Anyway, maybe you can see that, maybe you can't. What about that one over there? No, the glare's just allowed. Needless to say, it's got bad cat disease on the motherboard. That's what's killing that one. Alright. Hey, ITM2. Yep, pop caps. And what have we got? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Is there any point in me even doing this? This is... I think this is a E5300. I don't know how many of you have your memories go back that far. But this was Intel's first attempt, or one of the first attempts of going beyond the single core. I think the worst one they ever had was their first dual core, can't remember what it was now, the E something. And that thing just chewed power like it was a double Pentium 4. Maybe we should have fun and see if this actually fires up. let's have a look. Power cord, please. I will hereby declare that from this point on, with this machine, it is nothing but a time waste. If you have a respectable business and you want to make money, don't do this. Because a motherboard replacement for this would be $2. Yeah, she's down, she's out. You are not coming up. There's could be bad caps in the power supply, but I don't think so with this, because this looks like it's been replaced. The backups on the main board are right in the areas of the one over here. That's right in your sort of sense logic for the on-off switches. One over here will be to do with the CPU, maybe CPU vehicle. What the? Just noticed someone's punched the USB backplate out. So it's fun. Over here on the PCI Express. It's one of these weird hybrid boards that sort of had all the old and the new technologies on it. Like it's got an IDE socket, it's got parallel port, it's got PCI X16 and 1, and it's also got the original PCI. Yeah. Why not? Let's have some fun. Pull that out and see if we can make it boot. Why not? C922 seems a lot better than my previous models there. Which reminds me, I need to put it back on update. I'll just zoom back a bit. The only reason why I'm using zoom on this is because I'm encoding, uploading at 720p, and the camera's recording at 1080, so I can sort of afford to get away with it. Maybe we should have a vote. Where's my ATX power tester? It's behind me here. Maybe we should have a vote. Should I even bother taking the caps out of this to see if we can even make it run? Or do we think there's going to be something worse wrong with it? I don't like to turn work away. That's why I work 12 to 14 hours a day. I would work 12 to 14 hours a day, except I spend too much time watching those damn live streams. And it's getting worse, because with more people doing live streams, everybody is just like this roaming group. It's like a roaming circus or something, where you watch one show and then you go to the next tent and watch the next show. Okay, power supply tester's in. Where'd the cord go? There we go. Yeah, Cryjo, nice bulgy caps. When I saw the colour of the board, I already knew. Yeah, it's been a while since they've done the red boards, isn't it? And it's an MSI. Not that that makes much difference. Power supply's fine. Yeah, you can't really see that, but that's good. I got 5 volts. 5 volts is dead on. Fan's working beautifully. Primary 12 is a little high, but there's not really much load on here anyway. 3.3 is dead on. Minus 12 is close enough. Secondary 12 is again a little high. It's probably just been tapped off the first one. Yeah, power supply is fine. Like I said, it looked like it had already been replaced, because on the back of the chassis here, I know these chassis are generic, but it'll give the age away. On the back, there's the recess for the 8cm, classic 8cm type fan, and this one uses the 120 on the underside, which I do much prefer. Less dramas with the 120s. For me, do it. Alright, I'll do it for you. I don't know what I'm going to do with this board after I've fixed it, but assuming I fix it. But yeah, let's have some fun. I should be doing DD Rescue tutorial video. I keep meaning to every day, and things get in the way. Just things. It's like, oh, I gotta have a coffee, or oh, I've gotta take the rubbish out, or yeah, just everything gets in the way. How much memory do we have? Upmarket, 2 gigabytes. And I love the. This is classic Apple. I remember the Apple Macs that were the CRT tube, like the old glass tube screens, and they had all these aqua color things, like what was it? You had orange, red, blue, black, grey. So I think that was part of the whole, let's do this, let's copy Apple and make it 10 times cheaper and really nasty. Making money gets in the way. It does, rather, doesn't it? Although the thing is, if I put a little more time into doing YouTubing properly and creating better videos and things like that, it's sort of a long-term financial growth, I guess, or investment. It's a little bit risky, but at this point I'm a little short on choices. Well, I feel I'm a little short on choices. I've sort of blown my chances for the traditional retirement investment type thing. I did have a couple of them, and then I had to cash them in due to some unfortunate situations. It was very painful to cash those in, because I'd been investing since I was about 16, 17 years old. And so to have to watch the investors of the company walk away with all those years of my deposits, and I'm getting back pennies for dollar, it was like, you bastards. But yeah, I guess they rely on that. What? Oh no. Okay. That was a little exhausting trying to do it. Oh, we got a cute little dust bunny. It goes in the trash. Checking the Dell notebook mainboard at the moment. Which one? Beloved pin through. I hate you. Morning people, day 2 the Mac Saga. Day 2 the Mac Saga. Right, gotcha. That took me a little while to understand for some reason. So 2 there. 1, 3, 4. They all seem to be the same one. Let's have a look at what they are. This one's 470 microfarad, 16 volts. What have we got up here? 470, 16 volts. Can't read because it's on the other side. Come on. 470, 16. Wonder what the last one's going to be. Well, what do you know? 470, 16. So obviously it was a fault in that particular batch of capacitors. And that CPU fan just lifted off. That's neat. Pretty bloody disgusting though. Am I the only one that finds these Intel CPU lockdowns to be ambiguous? It's like I can never work out whether I've done it right or not. I mean, I pull on the thing, I go, oh, that's sat in, but I don't know what is the correct lock. Alright, let's get these things unsoldered, desoldered. Oops. Feel your pain. Had the same situation back in 2008 with the economic collapse. Are you referring to the housing mortgage collapse? The global financial crisis. Latitude E3. I don't know that one. i7 looks like overheated. Yeah. Which i7 is that one? Is in third generation, fourth generation? I guess I better put my car interior filter on. For this one I am going to need my big soldering iron, my little Goot RX711 just will not have the power. Ah, blown it up now. Quit your whinging. Do your job. Yeah, always check the pin is extended to the backside. Yeah, that's basically the way I work it out as well as the pull on. But I never am sure sometimes whether, depending on which way I've rotated these, whether it's going to wiggle up on its own. Yeah. I mean, I appreciate the convenience of the design, but the ambiguity, it'd be nice if it just said lock, unlock. I mean, how hard was that? Clearly too much to ask. What do they expect us to be, technicians or something? Alright, soldering iron is excessively hot at 417, which is ludicrously hot, but I don't care. Well, it's definitely easier than doing micro soldering. Come on. Alright, there we go, rock them out. Come on. Come on. Come on. I suppose I should actually go get some replacements. Won't be long. Sorry about that. I had to go check on the fur kids and get a drink and talk to the wife and then find the box of capacitors. Hopefully the ones I'm after are actually in there. Alright. Empty chair stream, yep. Yeah, 470 microfarad, 16 volt. And my hands are a bit too... hate that. The gloves don't go on properly, it's just all icky. Okay. I'm fairly sure I bought a few thousand of them at some point. And it would appear they potentially aren't even in here. That's going to annoy me. 220. Got capacitors in here that I should have just thrown out years ago too. Nope, 330s. Oh, flip-de-doo. Where are they? I'm gonna go look for another box. Alrighty, the big bag of things I bought too many of. And it's not the only bag I've got of them. You better not be 10 volts, you little blighters. Okay, you're all 10 volt ones. I'm almost 100% certain I have 16 volt ones. There we go. Winner. I think I needed 4 of them. The pitch spacing might... Oh great, there's a hole in my bag. Lovely. Yeah, it'll pass. Okay. Quick. The wick that I'm using to do this is probably worth more than the board. Hey Cormac, how'd you go finding that the Hacko station that you're looking for? These are a little wider than I expected. Oh well. The reason why my capacitors are quite a bit larger than the ones I'm replacing in terms of physically is because these are Panasonic FM types. With their low ESR, they're good quality, and you pay for that financially as well as usually physically in space. There's just no way to provide that level of low ESR and voltage and capacity without having to use up more space. That's okay. It's not a problem on these sort of boards. Maybe a problem on this one. We'll see. And all this dust is making my nose want to go. Alright. Let's grab onto those caps like a dirty fat dog tick. Come on, come on. The ground plane is strong with this one. It's holding you back. Good God. Been a resilient little bugger. Aha, gotcha. Goot wick is like gold. i2M2, it's actually older than a Core 2. It's the E5300. Which is like Intel's desperate attempt to stave off the loss in their market, at least until they've got the Core 2 Duo ready. And then, as we all know, they kicked ass and took names. Oh, come on. Okay. I'm going to cheat with this. I know I'm not going to be able to effectively draw that solder out, so I'm going to go with the flow a leg into it, and then, yeah, it's just a cheat. So shorten up the leg that we can't use. Okay. So I wish I had the microscope, and then I could put this under it, say like, well, just 1 or 2 magnification, and then you guys could see what's happening. Soon, soon, soon. Ish. Soon-ish. Alright. Crap. Need 3 hands. Come on, up you come. There you go. And you're home. I got the Goot wick from Banggood. Is it any good actually from Banggood? Is it actually Goot wick? Because I know there's plenty of clones for the Goot wick, because it is a very popular wick. I get mine locally for about $4 a spool. I could have had a long life with Goot wick, because I think I ordered 2 or 3 or something like that. Anyway, someone in the packing department must have been new, and they sent me a whole box, thinking that the box was 1 unit. And unfortunately, here we go again, my ethics kicked in. I said, I can't do this. So I messaged him and said, you guys are probably going to be a little short on your Gootwick stock because you've sent it pretty much all to me. They were happy to get it back, understandably, because I think a box has like 50 spools in it or something. Let's see. Yeah, the third arm, yeah. Do you remove the solder from the hole completely and feed the cat through, or just heat up solder? More, if I can, I try to get all the solder out, because that's the professional way. Worst case scenario, I end up getting one leg out and clear, and then I do what I just did, where I do an offset cut, and so you can feed one leg in for your orientation and then heat it from the other side and feed it through. So it's good to be able to actually have a use for these capacitors that I've been holding on to for the last decade. That's why I'm not really too worried about wasting the time and whatnot. We try Banggood Amtech flux. Yeah, now that's going to be quite amusing, I'd imagine. I do find it amusing, this whole trolling back and forth between Jesser and Lewis over wicking and flux. It's rather entertaining. I wonder if it's strategically done. Cryj, you would be absolutely correct. Yes, it was a... Oh, thank you. Yep, that was it. I kind of half think they would have been happy for me to pay for freight to send it back down if I hadn't have bought up that. But yeah, it's... I gotta admit, I was a little disappointed there, for being honest. So like one morning I woke up and my bank account was about an additional $7,500 that I knew wasn't mine. And once again, I got in contact with the person it was meant for, and all I got was a, oh thanks. And you know, I suppose that is, I shouldn't expect more, but sometimes when you think, you know, I could have easily taken that money. And it would have been quite hard for them to claim it back, just because of the way the banking system tends to work. But that's just not me. Which is why I'm sitting here at midnight soldering a board that's probably over a decade old and possibly won't even start up for no real purpose at all other than just for entertainment value. While other people are swimming in their money and planning to buy houses in lovely places. Oh, well, I'm not really genuinely being bitter here or anything, I'm just more being facetious. Because I can't be funny normally, in normal ways, I choose sarcasm and facetious and being flippant. No, not really flippant. Alright, that's our 4 capstone. Yep. Ooh, which one's here? I say we put a memory stick in it. Let's see if we can't get it to boot. Okay, now you don't have to listen to that crap. let's see. Yeah, I wonder why people aren't so honest these days. Reciprocation used to be a thing, yeah. I mean, from their perspective, I can sort of understand too. They're like, well, it was our money in the first place, so why should we have to reward you for what was rightfully ours? But yeah, there does seem to be a bit of a lack of reward for being a good citizen, so to speak. And I know they counterplay that as, well, there shouldn't being the good citizen is its own reward. But quite frankly, I think that's led us to a society where we now seek to maximize our gain because we know being good really doesn't pay off anyway. I mean, really, that saying, no good deed goes unpunished, is sadly a little too true for a lot of people, myself included. I've got a miniature power. There we go. This is my cute little miniature power brick. And where'd that RAM stick go? There it is. I don't know whether it's bad luck or what, but all throughout my growing up and things like that, I always strive to be that Boy Scout, good boy next door, all the nice sort of things, etc. And I swear, every single time I stepped out of line, just for whatever reason, testing the waters or something, there would be some serious smackdown that would hit me within seconds of me doing that. Now, I'd say either I was completely incompetent in trying to be someone who was trying to step out of line, I obviously did not have the skill for it, or you start getting a little bit on the esoteric side and start thinking, ooh, the universe is watching what I'm doing and doesn't want me to be this sort of person. Just like right now, it's saying, you can't slide that into... What the hell's going on here? That makes no sense. On the wrong side? Wrong side. That's why it made no sense. Wrong side. Lewis might say, can I take my good feeling to a shop and buy lunch with it? Yeah, pretty much, yeah. It's like, you can't. You can't. That's why I do find Lewis's point of view on things quite refreshing. I mean, I know he's young, as in, he's not even 30 yet, but he's had a good think about a great deal of things and come to the conclusions that a lot of people don't tend to get to till much later. And he's not profoundly cynical. I consider him to be a fairly well reasoned person. We do sit on slightly different sides of the political line, but then I'm going to put that down mostly to our countries. What's good for my country here in Australia does tend to be different to what's good for America. It usually comes down to population sizes and things like that. Anyway, I think he's done quite a lot of good things. Boom, boom, boom. It's going to put a USB stick in so I can see if it actually does anything. I don't really need to see much more because we know it wasn't powering on before. Okay. Now is it green? No, we'll go for green. Short the green. Nothing? Short the red. Nothing? Come on, don't be a total deadhead. Nah, actually, come to think of it, if the Plumyak. Let's have a look at this motherboard and find out what the pins are. MS7528 time to search for this. He's a realist. Yeah, I'd definitely say that. I mean, he has his dreams, but he's realistic about things. And he knows at the end of the day, in his situation, money matters, but he's also fair about how he goes about the acquisition of his money. He's not ripping people off. He's just being fair. Right, I'm just looking for the guide on this MS 7528 user guide. I've got nothing but people on manuals library. Oh, looks like it's actually a G31M3, and MSI does not even have that. Nor that one. It seems like it's so old that it's not even listed anymore. Nobody's keeping the PDFs for it. Oh wait, no, we got something. No, I don't want the bar. Manual. Download. So old, the picture of the board on the MSI website is pixelated. It's hilarious. No, it's weird that there's... Probably fine. I was pressing the right thing, but it's just broken. Oh. Alright. Hey, Stephen, TNG1. Oh, thank you very much. Let's see, now we're just trying to, like I said, find this JFP1. Let's see if we can just search for that instead of JFP1. There we go. Power switch is the black one. Right. I totally would have guessed that. Should have known better. I should have just kept trying. Ah, this mouse. Okay, so let's short the black one. That's good, you're good, right. Oh, we're up, we're running. Got a fan spin. Now, do we get any flashing on the bars? Yep, the USB stick just ran. Alright, yeah, that's working. Oh, thanks, Greg. Appreciate you promoting. I do actually really appreciate if people subscribe and things like that. it helps the stats move along. It encourages YouTube's suggestion algorithms, things like that. Always happy for that sort of thing. I don't know whether this is all going to peter out at 2,000 subscribers or what, but for the meantime, yes, as I said last night, I'm really just sort of counting off the days until the microscope can be ordered and arrived along with the camera. I'm not sure what the camera is going to be like. At this point, I'm only going to be picking up the 5 megapixel one. It's a USB 3 5 megapixel, but given that my equipment here is limited to 720p for the live streams, I may not find that too much of a limitation, at least directly. If later on I can afford a replacement encoding machine live stream, then maybe at the same time I'll get a better webcam camera for the microscope. I want to see how it goes first. I figure 5 megapixel should give me a decent 720p stream. This is running. I'm happy. Maybe I'll just stick this on the pile of some poor desperate person that wants something. A lot of machines like that. Looks like Ubuntu's going crazy there. Hey MKME Lab, your channel will grow far beyond 2,000. Well, I guess we'll see. Sometimes I think it takes also one of those, I wouldn't call them a viral moment, but just to be mentioned at the right place and the right time to make things jump. Like I know Jason of STS, who was in here earlier, his channel was doing much like mine, perfectly good. He's been doing a lot longer than I have, and then he got mentioned on iFixit for the iPhone touch disease issue, I believe it was, and that really helped the subscriber base pick up and everything like that, and now he's doing really well. Yeah, if you haven't seen his stuff, here's another chap you want to probably subscribe to. He does some really good iPhone stuff. He's very meticulous, very clean with his work. Unlike me, I'm a complete opposite slob and slap hack person. I guess we all have different styles. Yeah, he's definitely worth watching. If you do iPhone rework, you want to put him on the list with Chris Long and Jesser, of course. Okay, I'll give this a blowout tomorrow. It's too late at the night. I don't think the neighbours would appreciate me firing up the industrial vacuum cleaner at this hour of the night. I'll put it in reverse. I'll put the hose on the outlet and then just blow this sort of stuff down. I find a lot of people use compressor with the fine pitch blaster, and they do occasionally knock parts off with that sort of method. So I prefer to use the vacuum cleaner with the 1.5" odd nozzle. It's enough to get your dust off, but it doesn't risk knocking your parts off. Particularly too if you get some foreign object just floating back into the airstream. If you've got the fine nozzle, it'll just smash through things, whereas with the vacuum cleaner it doesn't. Is there any piece of equipment you'd say has been a particularly good investment? Obviously the hot air, in spite of it only being like $200 or so. It's the same one that Chris Long and STS use, just different faceplate. Yeah, let me think. Power supply, a good power supply, I would say, is one of those subtle ones where you don't realise how much you depend on it. Being able to do things like current control or dual outputs and things like that. Being able to have a power supply and a good set of leads to go with it, different connectors on it, definitely saves you a lot of time. It's difficult to say because there are a lot of pieces. You sort of need a lot of good of everything, all the items to be good. I'm trying to think. I mean, there are other items that I have that I certainly couldn't live without, that I never thought would be very useful. One of them's my bench press drill. Like, you've probably seen, those ones where they sit on your bench, and they've got all the motor assembly up the top, and you use the handle, wind them down. When I bought that, I didn't think, what am I going to want a bench press drill for? I don't really use it that, I've never really found a use for it, but it's definitely one of those tools in the shed that I would not be without anymore. Conversely, I bought things like a scroll saw that got used maybe 10 times in 20 years, so I ended up selling that thing. Likewise, a little miniature belt sander and disc sander, I just didn't use those much. But it really does come down to the individual. For some people, a tool matches the way they like to do things in a really good way, and they find it invaluable. For other people, the same tool, they're just like, well, I don't get along with this, so. So I don't really have any epiphany answers for that particular thing. Funnily enough, though, I do think about it other times during the day when I'm sort of like, I need to make a mention of the fact that this is actually a very useful tool. I will say, as much as I gripe about it, this overhead magnifying lamp is surprisingly useful, because it's only a 2.5 or 2.25 magnification, but it gives you a very quick overview on things, but still bright and clear. Let's see. It was nice to see Chris' channel get past 1,000. I agree, yeah, it was. I'm glad he got up there as quick as he did, and it seems like he's carrying that momentum through. His numbers are ticking up every day really well. Yeah, and Jason, he's past 11,000. He's going to hit 12,000 this week probably. I use a compressor all the time. Do you lose parts off your boards? See, it depends on the size of your nozzle. I'm not telling you because I know you already know. It's more I'm just talking to the audience, so to speak. If you get a broader nozzle, it tends to be a little better. But don't crank up the PSI all crazy, right? Yeah, there you go. Hold it back a good distance, still get a good result. Keep my compressor drain hole open so it's always dry on the inside. Okay. I've tried a few different compressors. I've never had good luck with them yet, so I'm still looking for the ideal one. What was it, about 5 years ago? I don't know about over in America or other places, but here in Australia, about 5 years ago, there was a sudden price drop in compressors. Like, we're talking the shed type ones with 20-litre containers or something like that, fractional horsepower type things. And they were dropping down to like $99, whereas prior to that they'd always been $350, $400 type things. The one I want is something that's got maybe a 5-litre capacity. They're small and they have what's closer to perhaps a airbrush type compressor level. That sort of thing is something I could put into this workshop, run without it being too noisy, and it doesn't use too much power, but still has enough of what I need. Keeps the tank from running so far. I busted a fan once with yeah, 45 psi is fine. Don't use 2000. Yeah, a little common sense. Yeah. I guess it's one of those things where how common is that? I know it's a fairly routinely said thing. And all the people that you usually are referring to when you say they don't have common sense or whatever, they say the same thing about other things that they witness in their lives. And it seems to be this like circular sort of observation thing where everybody thinks that someone else, no one else has common sense or something, or it's not very common. Yeah, it's probably a bit too much of a thought experiment there. Let's see, 1:15 at the moment. I probably should start looking at finishing up. Yeah, I think the hard drive too that was with this, it didn't have any bad sectors on it. When I was coming to start the stream, it was almost finished with its scanning and recovery. When I say recovery, I just mean I put the drive into my machine, I set it off to make a clone of the drive. I didn't see any bad sectors on it, but I did see that there was a few murmurs, as it were, on the drive, so it was probably a good thing that these caps finally gave up, made the person bring the machine in, and I was able to get the data off their system. I mean, it is well due for an upgrade. At least the upside of this, it's got a dedicated serial port in it, so that's always good for doing multimeter communications. Any concerns sending power back into the board by spinning fans? Generally not, because most of them are brushless, so you will get your field being generated, but the internal MOSFETs, the switching MOSFETs, should keep that at bay. And then the driver itself for the fan, as far as I know, they're usually pardon me, on the voltage rail. They're just hooked up to whatever on the switch mode. I mean, it could be theoretically possible, I suppose, with 120mm fans. You know what? I should try that. I should actually give that a shot. Maybe I'll use this board to do that, but this is probably a bit tougher than the new boards. I should put a 120mm fan onto one of these sockets and then blow the hell out of it and see what happens. Try to put a small screwdriver in the fan and blow dust out possible. Yeah, I'm the same. Yeah, Greg, you and I seem to do a lot of things very similar. I use my spudges, put them into the fan slots, stop them spinning, free spinning. I did a clone of 1 terabyte the other week. It took 10 days. Oh, God, Ray. How bad was, I mean, what, bad sectors or just running slow or whatever? Or was it infected with the Zuma virus? Ray and other South Africans will understand that, but the rest of the world probably won't yet. I mean, 10 days, that's pretty slow. I'd say the longest I've ever done a hard drive recovery was about 25 days. There was a little 2.5-inch unit, and I got most of the data off within a day or so, but there was about 1 gig left, and it just was picking that off, teeny little pieces at a time. Not brushless fans, they don't work like, yeah. I mean, you still do have the field generation, because they do have permanent magnets in them, so they don't have to be excited to work. But like I said, I'm curious to see whether that happens. And then maybe on the good fans it definitely shouldn't happen, but maybe on the cheap nasty ones maybe something can blow through. Just lots of bad sectors, or rather not a lot, just in many places. Oh, I hate that. I hate it when it's just spread all over the place, and if you're watching the recovery, it sort of like picks up pace and you're like, yes, we're going somewhere, and then it just runs into another bad spot and you're back down to 128 bytes a second or something like that. 99.96, that's pretty good. Ray, do you use the facility where you can write specific byte sequences into the bad areas or the areas that couldn't get on the image, and then go and get the MD5 sums of all the files in the file system and then change it back to 0 bytes and then do another MD5 sum and then compare the two and see which files have been damaged? I find that saves a lot of time sometimes. Like if you've got a Windows recovery and like, yeah, you maybe got 0.5 meg of bad areas that you couldn't get back, but you can mount the file system and it sort of boots, but doesn't quite go all the way, or it's got glitches. And then you use the MD5 sum with the different signature of the data sequence and see which one comes up different, and then you can sort of go, okay, I just need to replace those. First time using DD Rescue, so no. Okay, that's fine. It's it's just it's a little bit time consuming because you've got to make your, yeah, you got to go through the whole damn file system and MD5 sum everything. But it is a useful thing if you know you've got pretty much everything right, and you're just trying to find that one or two files. Maybe it's a DLL, maybe it's a configuration file, maybe it's nothing. It's a good way of finding out which files are dud. Of course, if the system's so corrupted that you can't even get the file allocation tables up, then well, you're stuffed anyway. Also, make sure you're using like DDRescue 122 or something like that, one of the latest versions. It's a lot better than what usually comes with the default Debian systems and whatnot. So, alright, well, we had one definite success, but it wasn't really a useful success. Well, like I said, I may use this as a burner board. Maybe I should go tech racks on it. I probably wouldn't. I don't know if I can do that. The Dell laptop, we're just going to have to write that off. I think it would be a bit ludicrous to try and mislead the customer as to saying, yeah, it works fine, give me $200. I'm not going to do that. I used to rely on SpinRite for years, but the software has gotten long in the tooth, and there's no way of determining what files were unrecoverable sectors. Yeah, there's a data disk. Oh, okay, that makes it easier then. Yeah, yeah, Greg. When I do the DDRescue tutorial thing, I'll cover that sort of section. It is in the manual, the documentation for DDRescue, but sometimes it's good to actually see it in practice being done. And it does save a lot of time and trouble when you're just trying to pin down, which damn file copped the damage. So, sysrescue disk is handy. It is, yeah. Yep. The only reason I don't generally use System Rescue for when I'm doing my DDRescue recoveries is because there's so many auxiliary programs that I like to use that System Rescue doesn't have with it. There's a lot of custom scripts, things like that. So that's why you'll find I tend to do it all in a Ubuntu server system. I use as a practice. Oh well, that's cool. So, alright, well I think I'm done. It's a bit of an early one for me, almost 1 o'clock. But yeah, we'll sort of keep pottering along each day. I do need to try and get the DDRescue thing done. I know maybe tomorrow will be my lucky day. Well, so, but anyway, thanks all for coming in and watching, and until next time, take care. I'll see you later.